Hey, welcome to the seventh episode of Kicking It with Coach. I have a special guest, Mr. Mason Graham.
Hello,
Um,
hello.
I coached Mason for 2 weeks
I
at
I
Mountain.
really gave it a try. That spring week, I really gave it a try. I promise you that.
Oh,
I
yeah.
still have the cleats from when I tried that for that
I'm definitely going to get into that.
week.
At Mountain Island Charter, Mason was also a standout soccer athlete for us, as well as other talents that he has. He's a current Gardner Webb freshman. How have you been doing, Mason?
Been doing well. Just been trying to understand the situation going on right now, but uh, just we were in off season and it kind of hit pretty quick, but we were doing pretty well. We were chilling. Uh, School's been going well. Uh, just got used to the full college experience. I think really getting to the routine of things and fully getting to the culture of Gardner Webb there as well.
Exactly. So how have your academics been so far, your first
They've
year?
been good. I'm actually in the honors college there, so there's a good high standard to go there, but a lot of good benefits to go with it. I would as a student athlete still try to recommend, even with academics, try to see if there's some kind of honor thing you can get to as a student, because there's a lot of good benefits. There's like early registration for a lot of colleges. There's just smaller class sizes, better curriculum, I would say, a lot more interaction with teachers, and but I mean, 3.7 GPA to try to keep it. Just for other things like scholarships on things like that you get from good academics. So just trying to keep that up high. But it's been going well. Been going
For sure. I was just about to ask you about your GPA. So your freshman
well.
GPA is a 3.7?
Yeah, 3.7, yes, sir.
Wow, that's impressive.
Mm-hmm.
How did your season go last year?
We went well. We went, I believe, 9-7, and we got to the second round of the Big South tournament. Lost to the eventual winners of High Point, and it was kind of heartbreaking, kind of tough on that one. But I think we did pretty well, and it's a pretty young team right now, so we're not really losing too many. So I think we'll be pretty good going around this year coming around.
For sure. So what's some of your goals that you have next year for yourself, both athletically and academically?
Academically, it's definitely to probably look to get already into some internships, try to find a few connections within Gardner Webb, because there's a big deal of alumni of Gardner Webb get jobs at Gardner Webb, or at least in good connection to it. So I'm hoping to do something like that academically, start getting into the works of that. And sports is, of course, the try to be out my people and be the best in my position. As a freshman, it wasn't too much playing time, because there's people there established, already hardworking. But now that I'm starting to get into the work of things, starting to understand the systems, I'm hoping to start moving up in the ranks in the team.
For sure. What was the biggest transition between high school to college?
I would say the biggest transition is, of course, as everyone says, the independence, but it's also the small things you don't really notice. Is that you got to remind yourself, like, oh, I got to eat today. Like I might have missed out on the lunch or something. And the biggest transition for that was just the living part for college life, I would say, is just knowing that you have to take care of yourself, both, I mean, physically and mentally, and knowing yourself a lot. But sports wise, it's the speed of the game. There's a whole scope of soccer that I've never noticed. I mean, maybe about 75% of my team is probably foreigners. I mean, people not from America that were, I mean, before they got to Gardner Webb, were living in a whole different continent. And that's just, that I had never been like that. I've never seen anything like that. And I mean, understanding different things of they're speaking different languages, all different play styles. I mean, people from Africa play different than people from Spain, things like that. And having to adapt to that was a lot.
For sure. How important is taking your academics serious in high school?
Man, it is, I mean, besides practicing, that is probably the best thing and most important thing. There is basically a big guideline that is you, no matter how hard you train and practice, if you can't get your grades up, you can't pass it, you don't play. I mean, the foundation of sports is academics, and so losing that, I mean, you don't get you lose the sports part, and it really helped me out as in being able to get multiple kind of scholarships from different places, because being able to and working hard in the classroom basically makes it easier for coaches and everyone else's life to um, help get you into the college, both getting it into you and getting you some kind of good package and deals to and incentivize you just to go there.
For sure. And one thing that I always talk with rising ninth graders and current ninth graders is
Mm-hmm.
the importance of taking your academics serious day one of ninth grade.
Oh yeah, that is that myth that it only matters junior and senior. That is not true. If you don't take it, basically it makes it easier. I mean, it can make it easier or harder that way, but those kind of years can make or break you. You gotta be able to first train yourself for the more harder curriculum, but also it just gets you in a good mood and mindset and just makes things a little easier. If you got full straight A's during your freshman and sophomore year, that still translates to your GPA. So it can just make it a little more padding, a little more extra ease for when things start to ramp up during your junior and senior year. Yeah.
What's some ways that your high school experiences helped shape your college life?
I think the family mentality, the close knit, small mentality of MICS really translated a lot easier to Gardner Webb, because they're a small private Christian college, but that the mentality that you're gonna see people you know every day, I mean all the time, and that there's not a stranger's face around there at MICS. It really translated to Gardner Webb and made it easier for me to understand that. To make relationships and build relationships quickly with people there, because you're going to see them for the rest of your time, and you're going to see them 2 or 3 times in a day just walking around. And the fact that MICS really takes the time of the teachers to care for their students, really hammers in for them to individually look and help out each student. Gardner Webb really helps with that too. It's small class sizes and things like that. And so while it might be more meticulous and focused on each student for any good or bad, I think it's something that I was able to understand and adapt quickly to because of MICS.
Yeah, one thing that I always say that gets underlooked or overlooked, let me say that.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that gets overlooked is the impact of having to balance student life along with athlete life. Being a student athlete is tough because not only do you have to go out on the sports field and compete hard, you also got to go and knock out some classwork. Like I think you just
Oh yeah,
with class right before we got on this call.
yeah. I actually did. I just finished two online classes actually, and that really, I mean, you with that kind of thing, I had to put my class schedule around my practice schedule. I have to tell teachers when I'm leaving for a game, won't be in class. You have to, I mean, they tell you that you have to go do that. You have to keep track of that and get them the teachers to sign your forms of excuse absences. You have to plan if I'm getting back from a game at 1 or 2 in the morning from a 3 hour drive, and we were able to stay overnight. I might have to still do a report and finish up a few worksheets before I get back. I mean, it's rigorous. It's not an easy thing to do. It's something you really gotta get used to. And I mean, I had a distinct schedule every day. I mean, I have a straight classwork, nap, eat, practice, another nap, and then I gotta do I might have a little free time, a little thing like that. But that's Monday through Friday for me.
Well, how did the student athlete experience help shape you and your work ethic as a student or just period as a person?
I think it keeps you focused. I think even from high school doing it, you got to stay focused. You got to know what you're doing. It keeps you really planned out. I would say it keeps you knowing that you're always thinking about, even though I got to do this, what's my next move? What's my next plan? And it keeps you more goal oriented and planned out. Maybe not. I mean, I'm not the most organized person in like having my papers together, but I know what I got to do in a week. I know what I'm doing the next day. I know what I'm doing and what I got to do in the next 3 hours, you know? And I always got to keep those goals and everything in mind, which has really helped.
For sure. What's some advice that you would give to current student athletes or current students in high school?
Mm, I'll probably tell them to know where you want to go, know what's going on, and keep your, like I always say, keep your academics together. You gotta work hard in the areas that people won't. You gotta know when your competition, know when people going against you aren't working, and you gotta really hammer in on that. Um, for student athletes looking to go to college, I think they should understand that you have to do extra research on things you want to do. Do extra research on the climate of the school, the kind of culture the school has, things like that. If you're looking to go to college, you got to do that extra kind of thing. I had plenty of people in my recruiting class that got to Gardner Webb and after a semester said this wasn't for me and left. And that's because they didn't take the extra time to understand that you're in Shelby, North Carolina. There's not as much big time city around there, but there's a lot of other things to benefit from that. And if you're not knowing that that's what you're getting coming in, and then you're gonna come in for a big shock when you go there. But I'll tell them definitely to understand that you got to hammer in the small things that people won't. I mean, if you got to lose an extra hour of sleep, finish that last assignment, coming back from practice, coming back from a game, you got to do it. You just got to do it and go for it.
For sure. Wow, I didn't directly coach you 2 weeks. We do have a unique relationship, and I want to talk a little bit. Well, can you talk about any ways that I've helped impact your life?
You're one of the first people that made me think I could get into the college game, honestly, that there was a chance. And I would say the biggest thing I was able to take away, and I would want people to understand from the college aspect and the going to the next level aspect, is that no matter where you are, if you work hard, you have the talent, you have the results, people will find you. You'll find it. They'll find you no matter what. There's the world that we have now is people can get to you no matter where. And I think that's one of the biggest things I took was even if I'm not coming out from the biggest 25A school coming out, or the biggest, I'm not the biggest 5-star recruit, number one in my class, that people will still find me. People will still understand and respect my talents. I think that was the biggest thing.
For sure. And before we get into our fun part where we look at some videos and photos, it's shout out to Coach Ted. Coach Ted Perner, he's a great guy, coached you for 4 years. Do you have any Coach Perner impersonations?
God, so there's a time that we had a very respectful and fun relationship of coach to player, that, and we did butt heads, honest. And I remember the funniest thing was one time we got into a little argument about what we wanted to come out of that. And he said, "You're the coach. I don't care. It doesn't matter." And he sat on the bench and just did this. I remember that was the funniest thing. I remember that's one time me and him I'll probably never forget. And it was in the middle of a game. It was in the middle of a game. Everyone saw me and him going at it, and he was just saying, "That's it. You're the coach. I don't care." And he said like that. That was fun. I distinctly remember that day. Yeah.
Did y'all win that game?
I think we might have. I think we did actually. Yeah. I think I couldn't tell you the opponent was, but I think we did actually win that game because of what was going on. Yeah.
For sure. So it worked. Well, shout out to Coach Perner.
Of course.
All right. Well, I'm gonna transition to some videos, and I want to see what you think.
All right.
All right, Mason. All right. This is not actually a video, but we're gonna take a look at your profile.
Yeah.
Mason, I took away, working with your mother, talking with her through this process, talking with you through the process of recruiting, that you guys didn't go the traditional route of recruiting. You kind of created your own avenue. And one thing I think a lot of student athletes could take away from your experience, your testimony, your journey is that you pretty much did the work. You and your mom and parents, period, y'all put in the legwork. And it was kind of easy for guys and for coaches to find you all because you put in the work. So I want to take a look at your profile.
Mm-hmm.
So any soccer athletes out there that's looking to go to college, I mean, Mason set the blueprint for that in this area, and he's playing at a Division I school. So I think that's huge. And you had a lot of accomplishments. Just looking at some of your accomplishments, you wasn't just a athlete. You was a
Yeah.
well together student, along with, we talk about student athlete, but we don't talk about the character. You also had the character. You had everything that you would want for an athlete if you look at some of your accolades. I mean, volunteering, just being a part of your community. So I'm gonna play this video and then I'm gonna get your feedback.
Mm.
All right, let's talk a little bit about this profile here.
So that was one of my first actual uh, uh, recruitment accounts. I got with that company through, I think, one of my old coaches, and he had just started that up and wanted me to get on it and use it. And he said that it was pretty well. It got me a few small connections. It got me to really get into understanding some new colleges around me, some new things I could use for just as a small openings and little doorways that I could really go into and start getting into the college game. And as you said with the character and the volunteer, I thank my mom, my dad for this, that they were people that said you gotta be more than just a player. You gotta be more than just a student. It's important for you to have people remember your name rather than just what you do. Have people remember what you did for them, and that even if they don't see you ever again from people you have volunteered, that they can, if they hear just a glimpse of your name, they can say that person really helped me and was a great person, and that I should be remembered in important things like that. And I would say this really helped me narrow down some of my choices with saying, I want to go to this camp, I want to go to this ID camp, I want to go to this one. And it gave me a better understanding of just how big the college game and college recruitment thing process really is. And our path was a little different. I chose the route of going to a few more ID camps to rather than, because I got into, as I said, the college recruitment and wanting to go into college a little late. I didn't think, I think I chose this to really hammer into it around probably my sophomore year. I would say if you have any even thoughts about it, you should start early, start ninth grade, start eighth grade, really thinking about it. Just really broad things, just so you can narrow it down as you get closer to graduation. And this started out with just starting with this. And I said, I want to go to this. My dad would make lists. We would make pros and cons. We really did some hard research about that. And then after that, it's went to visits and things like that. But this was a good start and a really good open door for me, you know.
For sure. Well, I'm gonna get into this next clip. All right, Mason. All right, this is our next clip.
Oh my God, my dad's so proud of this. I can tell you, my father is so proud of making this. I tell you, he will show this to anyone who even glimpses about liking soccer. Good Lord.
Well, you know what? He's right, because typically, like with soccer recruiting, you got some teams have huddles, some don't, and I think at this time we didn't have a huddle. But since then have a huddle, but it was really kind of unheard of soccer programs to have a huddle. Mm-hmm. So father, by creating this, he created a visual and a market for you where people can see you.
Yeah, this was a big help. I when he first started doing it, I think he just did it for research for me to look over games, get better. But this was really important in the recruiting process. I can tell you that.
For sure. Shout out to Dennis for doing
Dennis Graham, and that even in hot 90-degree days, he was right there at the top of the bleachers, man. I'm telling you. Those are some tough days for him. Umbrella and everything, ice packs, whatever he needed, man.
No doubt. Let's get into this video. Look at that, the whole visual, the contact information, the numbers, everything. Now this is impressive right here. Look at that. Look at that. What do you think he's about to score, huh? Give me that.
Oh yeah, no, I had I had to put a little into that. I lowered my shoulder to that one. I remember that.
Uh-oh.
Oof.
Now, Mason, what I see when I see that, when I saw you making all those deflections and stuff, I saw a defensive back. So let's talk.
Oh.
Because I'm gonna share a little something with you, and then we're gonna get into your comments for the video.
Yeah.
I remember first coming to Mountain Island and seeing you out on the basketball court playing. I was like, who in the world is that? So automatically I'm thinking, okay, that's a good football player because you're out there just the best athlete by far, right?
Yeah.
All the football players are playing basketball with you, and I'm like, this he's gonna be great. And they said, no, he's a soccer athlete. I said, you got to be kidding me. And, end up meeting your family, and one known little fact is we actually went to the same church for years prior, and I didn't.
Yes.
I didn't know y'all at the time, but we went to the same church. But trying to get you and convince you to come out. But you was one of the best athletes. Let me say this: you was one of the best athletes. And first and foremost, you made the best decision. With soccer was the route for you. But I want to kind of brag about your football days. You was a heck of a football player for 2 weeks. You locked up some dudes, just like we thought. But
I mean, I do remember that. I remember I actually tried football even when I was younger, when I sometime in elementary school, and I went to 2 practices. And I said, these dudes is really hitting because that was before I grew up and got big. God, I was like, these big boys is hitting. I quit it. I put on my helmet. I said, that's it. I'm done with that too. But I mean, I did like the experience. I still watch football. I still enjoy football. It's just, I think the play calling was one of my hardest things to really get, because I mean, y'all would be calling 35 words from the dictionary, all different with different lengths, and I would never know what was going on. I remember one time, I think I had Ryan or Jake or somebody going on, and I was like, what in the world does that mean? He's like, it's just a slant. And I was like, all right. And that's all I had to do. Oh, my God. Yeah.
When you're 6'2", people don't realize how big you are. 6'2", 190. I mean, you're a big
actually
boy.
I'm 205 now, just about.
Oh, wow, 205.
Yeah, just about.
But with all jokes aside, Mason, you're a phenomenal athlete, and I think one of the best athletes that ever come through the school. Just pure athletic ability. You want to talk anything about the clips we just watched?
Well, with that video, I actually want to really shout out my goalkeeping coach, Louis Barry and Eric Barnes. Those are my 2 own personal goalkeeping coaches and workout coaches I used to always go to. Just during summers, off seasons, things like that, they really helped develop my game. And coach, I mean, and even in some of those clips, you can hear a crazy old man screaming, oh yeah, and that's actually him, because he was one of the first people that, after he saw my dad taking videos just to learn from, he said, you can just start making these into a full video. He said, because there were so many games and clips that we had, and that he said this is a good way for just to get people a little spark of interest from people. I mean, of course, people want to see in person to see what you've become and if it's all really into fruition and if they can work with it. But that kind of video and sending out to coaches, I mean, we were attaching that to every email that we sent. I mean, it was saying, "Hey, I'm Mason Graham. I'm from here. I want to go to your school. Here's a few of my highlights. This is some of my accolades. I would send my resume." And which is nothing I would highly recommend is getting a resume early for both school, business, academics. Getting your resume done early and constantly updating it is very important, I think, for kids in high school nowadays. And he said that it's important for you to have that video for basically so people know that it's possible, that you can do it, and so then they can let me get the hard evidence and hard facts about it now. And then that was a big help. That video was very important in my recruiting.
For sure. Well, we're gonna get into some photos. You cool with that?
Yeah, that's great.
All right, let's do it. All right, Mason. Young Mason.
Yes.
What is this picture? I mean, you look cool.
So this is, I thought I was styling with this, actually. This was my best fit from when I was a young kid. That picture is from me graduating, I think, pre-K, one of my pre-K classes.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't, previously, because me and Zen went to some of the similar ones, and previously, so Zen's would have a full gown and golden gown and everything. But me as a kid, I hated those and didn't want to wear it, so I only wore the hat and wore that. I remember my parents told me that. I said I don't want to wear it, so I only wore the hat for the picture and for the actual ceremony.
I can imagine knowing your mom. This is a Quam Graham setup here.
From head to toe, that whole fit, all credit goes to the Quan Graham. She probably unbuttoned the 1-2 so it could pop out. And of course, that was all Quan Nicole Graham right there going for it.
No doubt, you got the hat to match with the pants. It's cool. I gotta admit, can't hate on that. All right, talking a little bit about your mom. I know your mom is a very important person in your life.
Yeah, my mom's probably my best friend. One of the most influential people in my life. I mean, I love her to everything. I put everything on my mom. Put everything from my mom. She was, I mean, from driving me to practices, from staying out late, picking me up from games late nights. I mean, she has always been there for me. I can't even explain how much she has influenced my life, from helping me write emails to teachers and formatting that for me, helping me understand how to plan do this, what's the best action. I mean, any advice, anything I need, any emotional support I need, I always go to my mom, and she has helped me so much, and that's why I do a lot of important things, a lot of things to make my family name proud. I do a lot for her.
For sure, along with being your twin.
Like, I mean, we get that a lot. I mean, when we're walking around, people go, "That's definitely your son, right? That's definitely your son, right?"
All right, pops, because I always thought Zen looked just like Dennis, and you look like your mom.
Yeah.
But talk a little bit about your pops.
My dad is someone who has, from being a kid, he was so important on implementing certain life values, personal responses, and things that I need to grow up with, to where it was really important for me to become a better person. I mean, he even as a kid, he was so built on like being independent, being able to do things on your own. Like when I was like 6 or 7 and just learning to talk and learning full English, he was like, "Go buy this for yourself." He would give me the $3 to get the soda and say, "You got to go get that for yourself because I'm not doing it." And I would be the little kid shaking in my boots, being like, I don't know how to communicate with people. But he was a person who was always there supporting and back and behind the scenes, getting everything right. I mean, he the little things is what he was really important and really big on, and really building me as a character and as a person. And I mean, like I said, from the videos to being up early to drive me 2 hours to old tournaments, I mean, he would do the research for the best gear for me and for the most efficient, no longer getting all the big brands just because it's big brand. He said, these are terrible. They're going to break in 2 weeks. You should definitely get with this. And he would be right every time. I promise you. If this man says this is the best product, I believe that I'm going to have that for 3 years at the highest quality. I can promise you.
For sure. I'm going to get into this next clip. You and your brother, because when I first met you, I mean, for a good portion, you was Zen's little brother, right?
Yes.
And then you definitely established your own identity in your own right. But it was pretty cool. You want to talk a little bit about this picture here?
That is from, God, I might be 7 or 8. And my dad was real bent on always photographing our life and as kids. And it's just probably in our living room. I mean, we moved to this house when I was first born, so the house might have been 6, 7 years old, and we were just chilling in there doing whatever, God knows what. And that robe is actually a family robe we had. Like everyone had that same robe, and that we for some reason. But I mean, me and my brother have always been close. We've always been people that can always talk to each other, always vent on each other, always joke with each other. I've seen other relationships, but me and my brother have, I think, a strong sibling connection that we've always had, that no matter what falls in, me and him will always be there, you know?
Yeah, shout out to Zen.
Zen Graham at App State, man.
At App State. Now, this picture here, y'all relationship always reminded me of me and my brother's relationship. Obviously, you know, Coach Apri. Y'all are tight, y'all are close than most brothers, because just because you're, you know, that's your brother don't mean that you're close to him.
Yeah. I mean,
our relationship always reminded me of me and Apri. And I used to always talk to Zen and try to give him some guidance and words of encouragement. And again, shout out to Zen. He's doing great things at App State, just setting himself up to run some serious businesses or position himself in life to be successful.
Yeah, he's always been someone who's been, in some ways, a little of the strengths of my weaknesses. So he's always been someone that I gotta really know what I'm doing as soon as I get out of school, really plan it. I'm more of a creative. I want to find my path as I go right now. He's saying, I know what I got to do. I know what I want. I'm going for it. I know this is the best way for me to get into it. He's already started internships and laying great foundations for himself. I've always looked up to my brother and I've been always proud of my brother for always, I mean, he paved a good way for me. I mean, I might have gone a little off the path of being an athlete and him doing big things in education, but he's always been a big person in my life, a big role model too.
For sure. That was a great role model. That's a great role model to have.
Yeah.
All right. A lot of people don't realize y'all have an extensive martial arts background. I knew Zen in it.
I took Taekwondo for 12 years and became a 2nd degree black belt. I took it up until about freshman or sophomore year. And that was one of the first things my dad wanted us to put us in, because, I mean, honestly, Taekwondo is more than just learning to beat someone up. It teaches a lot of discipline, responsibilities, a lot of character things that go into it. I have a great connection of friends and family. I mean, friends that might as well be family because of that. I started a Grandmaster King. He has been someone that was so big on building up my life when I was younger. And as you can tell, even Zen even did it for longer than me. That's also the thing. Zen did it for 2 or 3 years longer than me. That was my black belt test, actually, or to get my junior black belt, because when you're underage, you have to be like 14 or 15 to get an actual black belt. Mm-hmm. And you get a little black suit when you get a black belt too. And so that's how you know you've made it, is when you get that suit. Mm-hmm. You get that gi, and that's Dr. King next to Zen, who is Grandmaster King's wife, and they've both been great, huge roles as I grew up and shaping me right now as I am. Yeah. Shout out to Black Belt USA. Shout out to Black Belt USA. If y'all ever want to know how to kick some butt or really learn some things about the martial art worlds, go to Black Belt USA.
So more to the story, Mason, is you kick somebody's butt if you needed to.
I've never had to reach into that bag, but I do like to sometimes just flaunt the belt over my shoulder like WWE and hold it up. I do sometimes go into all that, but I just like the people to know it, and I never had to reach in that bag before, thankfully.
No doubt. And that's the one thing about the guys or girls or women, men, whatever, that when you know that you can kick some butt, you don't have to flaunt it. That you got it. Just like you, like people wouldn't know that, but I mean, you are 6'2", 205.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm pretty sure that'll be a bad day for a lot of people, but you never came across as a super aggressive person because you was confident within yourself.
Yeah, and that's the key word was the confidence. I would say the key word of that was definitely the confidence that you gain from that. It's something that's really important to have.
For sure. So young student athletes or students, period, you don't have to wear it on your chest or on your shoulder.
You don't always have to have a chip on your shoulder, man. You just have to have confidence in yourself, and never. There's a thin line between confidence and arrogance, but you want to be able to ride that and keep it so where you know what you're doing. You keep yourself together, but you're never just getting in someone else's path just to show that you can do it. You just never. Always just keep yourself and have self-respect and confidence for yourself.
For sure. All right. Now this is Raptor Run.
Oh, the people in the background of this are going to be very mad when I see this. The people that you're all exposing from the background, I can name you all those people too because of that.
I see Juice in there, a.k.a. Jonah.
There's Jonah. There's an old dude that used to go here. His name was Nathan. I think that's Baden back there. There's the Zach Green and the one and only almost tall as me, Jake Hawkins. There's Jared.
Where is Jake at? That's Jake
right
there.
Tall boy in the back. I think that's Tabby right there in the bottom left. Jared is the person right behind over my shoulder, and Adam is right next to him. And then the dude in front of him that's like blending with his face is my old friend Justin Perez, and that might be Camden Kiesler in front of the dude right there. I think that. Oh my God, the Raptor runs. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, you look like y'all having fun. Look like it definitely went down that day.
Oh my God, we used to be hunting for those wristbands because those ladies would put their wristbands on you. We used to be hunting for those. Those were a sign of pride back at the church at MICS, man.
For sure.
Whew.
All right. A lot of people don't realize that you had a basketball background, and it looks like you're the biggest kid on this court. Can you explain this picture?
So the thing that happened with that is that I had a late birthday, and so during that time, for basketball and soccer, club soccer, is that my birth year contradicted with my age because I was older than what I should have been, and for other kids in my grade. And so, because I was born in 2000, anyone else was 2001. So, because I was their age, though, I could play with them. But my birth year allowed me to also play up to the other kids. But I would never want to do that in basketball because I couldn't shoot or guard or dribble. I just like to get boards and go back up. So I would just go play with like Jonah and all them. This was shout out to Coach Renelle Wykes. This was her team. This was a CBC. This was my CBC basketball team. Yeah, we used to travel everywhere for that. Don't mind my shooting form. I know it might be close to Shaq's, and I can promise you that might have been a break because I was not the best shooter during my time. But yeah, I used to love playing. I still do. I still get intramurals with the team. Still play a little pickup with the team every now and then. Foreigners don't know as much as some of my teammates are in as the most knowledge of basketball since it's not as prominent in like Denmark or Norway where they're from. But they try. They definitely try. I teach them a little bit.
Well, this is definitely an interesting form. I'm
telling you, I have not learned yet. I took some lessons. I took the time to go to a shooting camp. I promise you, mine had gotten better from that. I promise you that. Big 35. Shout out to Kevin Durant too. Big 35.
For sure. All right, so you always been a stylish person. I mean, you
Oh man.
socks going on. We seen earlier with your pre-K picture. Explain
Mhm.
this shirt. What's going on here?
So I think I might have got that shirt from. I'm a big thrifter. I'm a big person for thrifting because I think it is a very effective and efficient and cost saving way of getting very valuable clothes. It's more of just taking the time to go search out for them. I mean, I could have got that shirt from Goodwill for $2-3 maybe. Those shorts were probably sweat. I think those shorts are sweatpants, and I just cut them, made a little thing out of that. And socks. Everyone knows. Everyone knows that knows me knows my socks have never matched since for the past 8 years of my life. And so I've always been someone that said I have one sock. I found another one. It's the first two socks I find. I promise everyone my process is not planned. It's the first two socks I find. I say, let me wear that. But yeah, I've always liked clothes. I've always liked fashion. I worked at an Uptown Cheapskate, which is like a Plato's Closet kind of thing, for about a year or two, and I've always loved clothes. And I also recommend those kind of stores. If you have too many clothes that are still in really great condition, you should just go sell them. Go to Plato's Closet, Uptown Cheapskate. They're all around here in Charlotte, and you can make some good money. I've bringing 2 bags of clothes, sell them for get $150.
For sure. All right, now let's talk a little bit about soccer.
All right.
I remember this picture. I think we had you and Marcus.
Yeah, we had on the photo shoot. That was cool. The Grams. Yes,
MoneyGram, exactly.
the MG pair. I remember that.
Which was crazy because you and Marcus were so similar, and y'all had the same last name, but you're not related. Because everybody
we have definitely, I promise you, we've definitely made the joke and tried to pass as cousins a few times when we've been out. I promise you. We've only had a few times and gone places, and I've tried to if there's like a family discount or something, we'll try to say we're cousins, things like that. I promise you. We've done that before. I promise you that.
That's good stuff there. All right, your brother graduation.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a do back-to-back photos. So we got your brother graduation here. Explain that moment watching your brother walk across that stage.
I think it was big. I think it was a big moment within our family, even extended family, from cousins, all that. We had it was seeing something that was opening a door for something that I know I can do now. It was something that I knew was possible for anybody and all, and knowing the hard work he's put behind closed doors, I knew that it just takes putting in the effort. It just takes in knowing where you're going, taking an extra hour, taking an extra day, taking an extra few minutes just to study for something, and it was a big moment for us. It was. So even in my CS history, it was a big moment. It was maybe the third or fourth ever graduating class, and my God, it was hot that day. My God, I can tell you one thing is that was steaming that graduation day. Oh my goodness.
Now your graduation. Now your brother's celebrating you. You know, cut the locks off and everything.
Yes, he cut the locks. Yes.
Talk about this moment.
Surreal, honestly. It was a surreal kind of moment in my life. I can tell you that I think I was in line with a few people before we were going and walking up to the gym, because we had changed, so off of the top of everything, and we said, is this really happening? What do we do after this? What goes on after this? All we've known for the past 16, 12 years of our life was school. Was going to a classroom, sitting in a classroom for 7 hours. And I remember we were just like, this can't be happening. This isn't happening. And I think it was a weight off my chest. It was something to where you just said, I'm done now. Now on to the next thing. You got a few months or two about finally getting off of your chest and saying, I'm done with school for a little bit. And then I can get to a whole new part of my life. It was basically surreal finding a big new step in my life. And ignore my cricket hat, I had hugged a few people and I didn't realize, because I put when people put hair ties back, the plastic hair bands, I glued that to mine so it could fit on my head and stuck it into my hair. And I didn't realize it got crooked. And so I looked back at all my graduation photos once and I realized 75% of them, my hat's like this for some reason. I did not mean for that. I was not trying to look pimp or cool. I promise you that. I wasn't trying to to flex on anyone. I can promise you that.
For sure. You pulled it off, though. That's important. All right, this moment. Signing. Gardner Webb, you made it official. Whole journey. Tell me what this moment was like.
It was a moment where I knew I could always look back and be proud. I knew it was the time I'd really elevated my family name, the MICS name, and made all the people that helped me work, put in the work for me, worked and taught and coached me. I could finally say, here's what I've done because of it. This was the fruits I can now bear from them, from all their hard work that they were able to put into me and put with me. And it's a moment where you can say, this is what I did it for. That's the exact defining moment where you can say the hours of practice, the blazing suns, the putting water on your cleats because of the burning turf, all the almost having a heat stroke during the summers working out, the blizzarding colds during the winter because of the great North Carolina weather. You can finally say I did it for this. That signing that name, I'll never forget my exact moment of signing my name on that paper.
For sure, and being the first men's soccer signee in school history, that's a legacy that you created a path for a lot more future Raptors and current Raptors to be able to look up to.
And I want people to know that it's possible. It was a moment where I could say it's possible for anyone. I mean, I wasn't any big recruit, any big thing like that. It's just about hard work. It's about putting in the work.
For sure. All right, so we're on a stage, right? And big moment for all you guys. Shout out to Mackenzie. Mackenzie being the first female soccer athlete signing. That was history there, where we had a men's and a woman's first signing, and I think that was very an important moment in time. But two people I want to highlight in this we haven't talked about, but Miss Stallings and Miss Tolson, Tanya Tolson and Tony Stallings. Can you talk a little bit about these two ladies and how they help impact your life?
Man, these Miss Stallings and Miss Tolson, I don't know why I blanked. She's gonna fire and flame me for that.
Oh, she's gonna get you.
She's gonna fire me for that. But these, they were big figures in my life in the fact that they cared for me more than a student. I can definitely say those for every person that walks into their doors and says hi to them or gets taught by them, they will love you more than the student. They will put even their own kids as their mentality to you, and then they will go any extra mile, any extra length, any extra thing they need, anything you need. They'll do it. They'll go for it. They'll do the research. I mean, there have been any times if I've had connections or needed a connection, and they found it for me. Those are some great people and great teachers from MICS. They've helped me. They helped me from freshman year all the way up, even from when Miss Stallings was an overseer rather than just a teacher, when she was overlooking all of middle schools and stuff like that. Seeing her walking through, she was one of the people that when she walked in, the teacher was like, all right, let's go out. And then she used to be, even when she was that, I remember.
For sure. Shout out to Miss Tony Stallings and Miss Tanya Tolson. Definitely two incredible women, incredible people, period, and incredible teachers.
Incredible. Won't find nothing like them.
All right, so you got to college.
Yes.
This is the official Mason Graham Gardner Webb photo. This is on their website. What's it
look? What was the question here?
What's this look right here?
So that's when we do the team photos, we all have to go as a team and we line up and then you just file through. This is my other friends and teammates were yelling at me and looking at me and trying to make fun of me for anything on my face at that exact moment. They were yelling at me and making fun of and me trying not to laugh while we do it. And I can everybody. We all have like a little team, like little huddle before. And we're like, all right, do we smile for it or are we serious for it? Any athlete has done a team photo and say, Are we smiling or are we laughing? And then that we said we just wanted to be serious for it. And that was a crazy moment actually, finally getting that. And we had not gotten our new uniforms for the season yet, so we had to use our training shirts for it actually.
For sure. All right, Mason, as we wrap up, any advice, lasting advice you can give to any student athletes out there?
I've always been wanting to say trust the process. If you know you're doing the much you can, the hardest you can, the best you can, and researching and doing everything you can to get into the pathways to get to, if you want the next level or just to be the best in your sport as where you are. I'll say just trust the process. Like I said, I can promise you, I've seen from myself and from my own personal story, it always works. If you're doing enough hard work and doing enough research, doing enough extra hours, extra nights, it'll pay off. I can tell you there's a lot of sleepless nights, a lot of long nights. Me and my mom, my dad, my brother, all of us, a lot of long nights after this process, and plenty of times where I didn't want to do this, I didn't want to go to this camp, I didn't want to go to this practice, to go to this training, didn't want to do this, finish this project for the night, didn't want to do the extra worksheet, but it's the push that you gotta have, is that you gotta always put in the extra leg and trust the process. It always works.
Any last shout outs? That's what I meant.
Shout out my family, Shout out to the boy Adam and Jared, always been through me all the way through high school. They're my two of my best friends. All my classes, our whole class, 2019 was the closest, dopest friends ever. We went crazy there. And I mean, shout out to my old coaches, Coach Bobby, this British dude that was crazy, a crazy British dude, Coach Bobby, and Coach Gina, Coach Al, great coaches that taught me a lot of my game.
For sure. And before we go, are those comic books on your wall?
Those are comic books. This is not my natural background. This is the room my brother moved in, but it's a much cooler thing because all the comic book fans are gonna like screenshot this and zoom in to every single one, and they're gonna start emailing and texting about like I can sell it for this price. Oh, well, that's the volume, whatever. I don't know anything about him, but yeah, he's a big comic book fan. Big comic book fan.
See, I'm a comic head. People don't very interested.
Oh, really?
I am a big comic head. I got like when I was younger, I had like 2 file cabinets full of comic books.
Oh, wow.
Right now, my father got it in storage, so I'm passing them down for my kids, and I'm kind of scared to look at them. But I had a whole little setup in this plastic and the card. So
yeah. We've gotten to a lot of. I'm not a big comic book game fan, but I'm a big video game, big entertainment fan like that. So we've been to a lot of like Comic Cons, Expo Cons, things like that. A lot of expos. Those are interesting. You can find some cool stuff like that there. Always try that out if you want to try that out. Find something new and try that.
For sure. Well, it was good having you, Mason.
Thank you for having me.
Tell Dennis, tell Quan, tell Zen, tell your family I said what's up.
Will do.
Thanks again. Salute.
Of course. See, thank you for having me.